Hello everyone and welcome back. Today, we talk about one of the most iconic monuments in the world, a symbol of Rome and ancient greatness, the Colosseum. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel if you like these videos and leave a like. Now let's start. The Colosseum, the symbol par excellence of the power of ancient Rome, has never ceased to attract attention. Yet observing it carefully, something seems to be missing today. It is not a simple impression. The most famous amphitheater in the world is incomplete. An impressive portion of its original structure has been lost. This is not simply a matter of subsidence due to time, but of the total disappearance of part of the external ring. The northern section still appears intact today, while the southern one has been literally swallowed up by history. But no, it was not the barbarians nor a mysterious explosion that caused its collapse. The ruin has deep and distant roots. It all began in the Middle Ages, in a long, gradual, and anything but casual process. Every stolen block, every destroyed arch, tells a story of transformations, abandonments, reuses. From a theater of death, the Colosseum slowly transformed into an open-air quarry for the construction of the new Christian Rome. Understanding its history means dismantling centuries of events, stone by stone, just as the monument itself was literally dismantled. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the Colosseum fell into a state of progressive abandonment. The final blow came in 1349 with a violent earthquake, whose epicenter was probably in the Apennine area of Abruzzo. Rome was severely affected, and the Colosseum was among its most illustrious victims. Built partly on Nero's ancient lake basin, drained to make room for the new construction, the Colosseum rested on terrain of varying stability. The northern and eastern foundations were solid, while the southern ones rested on a loose and unstable soil. When the earth shook, it was precisely that area that gave way first. A significant part of the outer ring collapsed, sliding outwards and irreparably damaging the entire structure. The rubble remained in place, but soon changed function. It became a precious building resource. The travertine and marble of the Colosseum were recovered and reused to build churches, palaces, and hospitals. The blocks of the amphitheater ended up in the Palazzo Venezia, in St. Peter's Basilica, in the Barberini Palace. The iron from the clamps was extracted and remelted to create weapons and tools. The ancient monument had by now become an urban mine, emptied piece by piece. The plundering was so systematic that it required the intervention of several popes, who tried, in vain, to stop the hemorrhage. Only with the Renaissance and with the rediscovery of the ancient, a new sensibility began to emerge. The Colosseum was no longer just a source of materials, but a heritage to be protected. But before this new awareness, the Colosseum went through another extraordinary transformation, from an imperial monument to a medieval citadel. In an era marked by political instability and urban growth, the amphitheater was progressively occupied by the population. The arches were walled up, the corridors transformed into homes. Inside, vegetable gardens, shops, and even places of worship were created. A church dedicated to San Giacomo was built right within its walls, followed later by a chapel to the Madonna della Pietà. Powerful families, such as the Frangipani and the Annibaldi, made it a stronghold, building towers and defensive structures. blending the Roman heritage with the needs of medieval Rome. This phase, little known today, represents an incredible example of urban reuse. The Colosseum, which once echoed with the roars of lions and the clanging of swords, became a microcosm of the city, a place lived in and repurposed, a symbol no longer of imperial domination, but of popular resilience. With the advent of the Renaissance, the wind changed. Humanists and architects began to look at the Colosseum with new eyes. It was no longer a ruin to be dismantled, but a source of inspiration. Leon Battista Alberti, Donato Bramante, Michelangelo. Everyone studied it, fascinated by its monumentality and technical complexity. The amphitheater began to acquire cultural value, becoming an open-air museum of Roman engineering. But despite this renewed interest, the decline did not stop completely. Even in the 16th century, the Colosseum was inhabited by homeless people and peasants, and its materials continued to be stolen. It was only in the 18th century, with Pope Benedict XIV, that history took a decisive turn. The pontiff declared the Colosseum a sacred place, since it was believed that the first Christians had been martyred there. Even in the absence of certain evidence, this decision helped put an end to the destruction, giving the monument a new dignity, spiritual and historical. In the following century, with the Enlightenment and the first systematic archaeological campaigns, a new era began, that of conservation. Between 1807 and 1827, under the guidance of the architect Giuseppe Valadier, the first structural interventions were carried out, such as the large brick buttress that still today reinforces the north side. The transition from quarry to monument was slow and laborious, but it marked the rebirth of the Colosseum. Today, it is one of the most visited archaeological sites in the world, with over 7 million visitors each year. It has become not only a symbol of ancient Rome, but also an emblem of resistance, transformation, and memory. The Colosseum is not just a relic of the past. It is a living testimony to the human capacity to recycle, reinvent, and ultimately preserve what truly matters. A stone giant that, though wounded, continues to dominate the eternal city, to tell its story and to inspire the future. The Colosseum, with its visible wounds and its intact grandeur, is not just a monument to be admired, but a story engraved in stone. Every collapse, every transformation, every reuse tells not of the end, but of a new phase in its long existence. It is the symbol of a city that has never stopped changing its skin, adapting, and being reborn. From the imperial era to the Middle Ages, from the Renaissance to the modern challenges of conservation, the Colosseum has been able to cross the centuries, transforming itself from a theater of bloody spectacles to a fortress, from a quarry to a popular refuge, until it became what it is today: a world icon, a shared heritage, a warning and a model. Looking at it today means reading a story of power, ruin, and redemption. It means understanding that the greatness of a civilization is not measured only by its triumphs, but by its ability to leave traces that can speak even after millennia. The Colosseum is not only Rome's past, it is its living memory, its heart of stone that continues to beat. And as long as it stands, it will continue to remind us that history is not preserved in glass cases, but is lived, traversed, inhabited. Just as it happened among those arches, among those ruins, among those stones that, even today, tell who we were and who we can be. That's all for today. What do you think? Let me know below in the comments. See you next time. Bye.